Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna tackle something that's very common but still very challenging. How to revive very stressed and dehydrated orchids. In this specific case here, I have an Angraecum. This Angraecum is the Magdalena. I showed you how when I bought it and how I unboxed this orchid. It is a seedling, it's a very young plant. I haven't repotted yet, but I noticed that it has been struggling. Angraecum, they tend to lose their roots when you repot them. They have very sensitive roots. And on top of that, because that's a very young plant, I noticed that's not very healthy and it's difficult to keep seedlings if you don't provide the right environment. In the case here, I know that the orchid is stressed because I don't think it has many live roots. I can see that it's losing the bottom leaves and it still has only 2 healthy leaves. And something is weird. It looks like some of the signs that you can notice in your orchid when they are dehydrated are lumpy, wrinkled leaves, and also when you have a completely rootless orchid. These are the cases when I tend to do and to apply this method. I use it for seedlings and as a last resource when I see that my plants are really struggling. I can show you some examples that worked toward the end of the video, but now let's tackle what's this method, how I revive this orchid, and what I do. So the method that I use when I have a case like that, this is a seedling as I said, that's not very healthy at the moment, is to create a high humidity chamber. This high humidity environment will reduce the transpiration of my plant, which will help the orchid to retain moisture and then will give my plant more time to push out fresh and new roots. What do you need to create this high humidity chamber? A glass jar or a clear plastic container. You need some sphagnum moss. I use New Zealand sphagnum moss, a plastic cover or a lid, and also some water. And don't forget to bring your sick orchid. That's the most important part to our creating our high humidity environment. So let's start. So I have everything in here on my table, and the first thing that I have to do is to soak your sphagnum moss. Mine is a dry sphagnum moss, so very important to add some water to it. It will suck up all the water and it will be moist and perfect for me to place my orchid on top of it. So after you have your moss completely hydrated, as so, you can safely squeeze the moss, remove the excess of water. We don't need the plants to be sitting in a damp environment. It's just a humid environment. Secondly, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take my orchid from its pot here and let's remove it from this old mix and see what we have inside. So that's my orchid. I can safely say that this is dead. This is dead. How I know these roots are dead? They are mushy. If you touch them, they are papery. So I know that this is dead, this is dead. I think it's, oh, great. As I suspected, everything is dead here, so it is a rootless orchid. The perfect example from what I was trying to tell you. So my orchid has 0 roots. I don't need to even, clean the root system because there is no root. I suspected that because I knew it was very stressed. There you go. That's my Angraecum. Completely rootless Angraecum. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna grab this sphagnum moss, add it to the pot. I have a transparent pot here that I will use as my pot. If my plant produces any root, it can be here forever. I will use this dark container as a base so the water can get trapped here at the base and the moss can suck it up. If I need to water it, I just need to add some water around the container. My plant will be just placed on top of the sphagnum moss. It's just to keep the environment with a high moisture environment. So the next thing that you have to do is just cover this pot, or if you place your plant in a jar and place something transparent on top of it, and you're going to create like a mini greenhouse effect. Make sure it is secure, so it should be in place. But some people prefer to leave small gaps just to have some air circulation. I'm not worried about this because I have great experience with this type of greenhouse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just place my orchid here and should be all fine. So that's my high moisture environment. And what I'm going to do with this jar now, just place it in one of my shelving and let it be. From time to time, I will remove this and I will check the orchid to see how it is coping inside this moss. Just to let you know, very important before I forget, don't place it in a direct sunlight, like in your brightest windows or something like that, to avoid overheating. Your plant won't appreciate it. You need to bathe it a little bit because it's not the healthiest plant at the moment. But it is important that you keep it in a bright area or something where you have some natural light or some growing light. How I will know what is happening here? As I said, I have to remove this lid and have a quick look. But the high humidity environment will help reduce water loss and give my orchid the best chance to push out new roots. What I'm gonna do now, let me show you some examples and conclude the video. 1 second. So here I have one example. I potted it up last year. They were tiny dendrobium cakeys, almost rootless, and I kept them in this high humidity chamber. Look what happened. I have now, the cakeys are growing. The moss is alive as well. It's pretty cute. But I also have this green thing coming here and this green thing coming from here. These are all roots that are growing everywhere, and the cakeys are becoming taller and taller. So hopefully this cute thing here will keep growing, and at some point I'll be able to remove from this environment and pot it separately. But until they are tall and I feel confident that I will save them, I will keep them here. Same thing here. If I open that, look how beautiful it is. Look at all this live moss. I'm in love with the live moss. It's been here for a while. This is a Phalaenopsis. It's the terrestrial Phalaenopsis. I forgot the name anyway. The mother plants have never done well for me. Push out cake, and I decided to place the cake in this high humidity chamber. The roots are growing amazingly well inside, and the plant keep growing. It's a very slow grower type of orchid. And on top of that, what else I have in here? I have some Dendrobium Phalaenopsis that got almost killed by pests, and that they were not doing amazingly in their pot. I added them here, and now they are full of roots. Let me come closer for you to see. Look at the cute the roots of the Dendrobium Phalaenopsis. So they are all here together, thriving and doing amazingly well. And I intend to keep them here until I feel that they are large enough to be able to grow on their own. And the Phalaenopsis root is so big. Sorry. Can you see that? That's the Phalaenopsis root. I think I would be safe now to remove the Phalaenopsis from here. I will do that at some point. I love how the moss is growing with the rest of the plant. Anyway, grab that and let's conclude this video. As you could see, with proper care and patience, it's possible to save some of the orchids that we have in our collections. Just to let you know, especially seedlings and small divisions, they will take many years until they become mature plants again. But in my experience, it's super worth to have one of these saved plants in our collection, especially when they bloom. Oh my God, it's so rewarding to see something that we saved and alive and doing well. I love it. Let me know if you have experienced that before. Some of our orchids, they will definitely die because they were sick. So it doesn't make any difference if you place them inside these high humidity chambers or environments, or, you know, if you try to mimic somehow a greenhouse, it won't help them because they have some underlying issues. So just to let you know, it's normal to lose orchids in the process as well. But we are also able to save some of our orchids that were dehydrated or had no roots, or young, very young orchid, they need some support. So for these cases specifically, I think these could be helpful. Let me know if you have one of these high humidity chambers in your house. If you decided to do one, just let me know here how you create yours. I'd love to hear from your own experience. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Before we end up. Oh, God. It happens, Bruno.